The 30th floor office was a testament to minimalist corporate power, all glass and brushed steel overlooking the relentless energy of Manhattan. Leo found the space empty, which was unusual. His brother, Alex, was a creature of habit. A quick glance at his watch confirmed a board meeting was in progress. He placed the insulated lunch bag on the vast expanse of Alex's mahogany desk, its humble contents a stark contrast to the room's severe elegance. He planned to collapse onto the plush leather sofa and kill time with a game, a moment of reprieve in his brother's orbit. But the sofa was already occupied. A figure lay curled on its side, a dark suit jacket draped over them like a shroud. A pang of curiosity, sharp and insistent, struck Leo. He tiptoed closer and gently lifted a corner of the jacket. The face he saw stopped his breath. The man was beautiful, with a sculpted perfection that seemed almost unreal. His skin was pale, and a feverish flush colored the sharp line of his cheekbones. Dark hair clung to his forehead with sweat, and his eyes, when they snapped open, were a startling, piercing blue, rimmed with the red of discomfort. Leo dropped the jacket as if it were on fire, hands shooting up in a gesture of universal surrender. He offered a strained, apologetic laugh. He explained, in a rush of words, that he was just dropping off lunch for his brother. The man on the sofa pulled the jacket away, his expression unreadable as he sat up, leaning back against the cushions. He didn't speak. Leo, feeling the silence stretch, asked if he was all right, if it was his stomach. A faint nod was the only reply. Galvanized into action, Leo hurried to Alex's desk, rummaging through a drawer for the emergency antacids he knew his brother kept. He muttered to himself about the irony of it all, that his brother, who neglected his own health, had someone in his life who was apparently just as bad. He found the small bottle and a sealed water bottle, handing them both over. The man took the tablets but ignored the water. An odd thought struck Leo. Perhaps he thought it was tampered with. Without thinking, Leo twisted the cap, took a quick sip, and offered it again, assuring him it was safe. The man's long, elegant fingers finally closed around the bottle. He took the medicine in one smooth motion. Leo heard himself whisper that he was being good, and the man's damp eyes looked up at him, a flicker of confusion in their depths. Leo quickly looked away, a wave of heat rising in his neck. He tried to justify his strange behavior by explaining the Herculean effort it took to get his own brother to take any medicine at all. Realization dawned on him. If this was Alex's new partner, his duties as lunch monitor and amateur nurse were likely over. A sense of freedom washed over him. He had a pool game to get to. He told the man, his presumed future brother-in-law, to make sure Alex ate, then made a hasty exit, feeling proud of his tactful departure. The sharp crack of the brake echoed in the dimly lit pool hall. Leo was lining up his next shot when his phone buzzed. It was Alex. He answered cheerfully, expecting thanks for his thoughtful service. Instead, Alex's voice, tight with frustration, cut through the line. He demanded to know why Leo had simply abandoned the food and run off. Leo, confused, started to explain that he was just giving Alex and his new boyfriend some privacy. A beat of dead silence followed. Then Alex's voice, incredulous, asked what boyfriend he was talking about. Leo clarified, describing the man on the sofa in his office. A heavy sigh came from the other end. Alex informed him that the person in question was not his boyfriend, but his new executive assistant, Julian. Then, after a pause, Alex added that if Leo was going to bring Julian lunch, he should bring 2 portions next time. An assistant. Leo felt a jolt, not a partner. He tossed his pool cue to his friend, a wide grin spreading across his face. He was back in the game. He waited in the sterile quiet of the underground parking garage, leaning against the cool metal of his silver Porsche. Employees trickled out, their workday over, but there was no sign of Alex or the man he now knew as Julian. Growing impatient, he took the elevator back up. He found them in the office, just as he had left them, illuminated by the glow of their laptops. Alex was at his desk, and Julian was on the sofa, a pair of slim, gold-rimmed glasses perched on his nose, his focus absolute. Leo cleared his throat. He whistled lightly, announcing that it was dinner time. Alex barely glanced at him, instead turning to his assistant. He suggested they continue their discussion over a meal. Julian nodded, closing his laptop. As they prepared to leave, Leo nudged his brother, asking for a proper introduction. Alex gave him a withering look but complied. Julian's voice was a low, smooth baritone as he confirmed they had already met that afternoon. His slight smile did something strange to Leo's insides. Without a filter, Leo asked him if he was seeing anyone. The question earned him a sharp blow to the back of the head from his brother. Julian, unperturbed, replied coolly that he was not, as relationships weren't a priority for him. The words were a small, sharp sting, but Leo recovered quickly, insisting that he treat them both to dinner. The meal was an exercise in frustration. Alex and Julian spoke a language of mergers, quarterly reports, and market projections that was entirely foreign to Leo. He felt a pang of regret for his disinterest in the family business. He watched Julian, captivated, until a sharp kick from Alex under the table brought him back to reality. Alex told him to go pay the bill. Seizing the opportunity, Leo stumbled as he stood up, managing to fall squarely against Julian. For a brief second, he was enveloped in a faint, clean scent before he scrambled back up, apologizing profusely. Julian was placid, his composure unshaken. Before leaving, Leo asked for his number, framing it as a necessity for coordinating their future lunch deliveries. Julian agreed. That night, Leo stared at the blank message screen, paralyzed by indecision. He wanted to send something charming and casual, but all his usual go-to memes felt juvenile. He scrolled through a friend's social media, screenshotting a picture of a cute kitten to accompany his message. He typed, "Are you asleep, Julian?" and hit send. Silence. He began to second-guess himself. He drafted and deleted a series of increasingly elaborate, cringe-worthy messages filled with poetic nonsense about the night sky and soothing wishes. Still nothing. Just as he was sinking into a pit of despair, his phone buzzed with an incoming video call. It was Julian. He fumbled the phone, catching it in a clumsy dive that left him half off his bed. He answered, his heart hammering. On the screen, Julian looked unreal. His hair was damp from a recent shower, and he wore a simple robe that gaped slightly at the collar, revealing a sliver of pale chest. A drop of water traced a path down his neck and disappeared beneath the fabric. The combination of the awkward posture and the stunning image sent a rush of blood to Leo's head. He felt a warm trickle from his nose and looked down to see a drop of blood land on his phone screen. His composure shattered. He stammered out a weak excuse about needing to know Julian's dietary restrictions for the next day's lunch. Julian's voice was laced with a hint of amusement as he said that Alex already had that information and that Leo, if he was feeling unwell, should get some rest. Leo groaned in mortification after the call ended. The next day, Leo was a man on a mission. He ignored his brother's teasing and meticulously prepared a meal, only to find that his efforts were thwarted by the normal office schedule. He arrived just as Julian was heading into a meeting. He followed Julian into his office, insisting that eating was also important. Julian thanked him politely but again mentioned his busy schedule and pointedly suggested Leo should also take care of his own health. The man was a fortress. Leo decided that if food was not the key, then coffee was the next logical step. He dove into the world of artisanal coffee, experimenting with beans, brewing methods, and latte art. After days of practice, he presented what he considered a masterpiece to Julian. He watched, breathless, as Julian examined the slightly lopsided heart on the surface of the foam. Julian's expression was unreadable. He was about to take a sip when the door opened and Alex walked in, drawn by the aroma. The moment was broken. His grand romantic gestures were consistently intercepted by the mundane reality of work. He cooked elaborate meals only to find out Julian was on a business trip, leaving Alex to reap the benefits. He sent texts and was met with polite but brief replies. He was a peacock displaying his finest feathers to a man who was only interested in spreadsheets. Dejected, he finally asked his brother for help. Alex, between mouthfuls of food Leo had intended for Julian, looked at him with a mixture of pity and exasperation. He advised Leo to change his approach. The casual, boyish charm wasn't working. Julian, he explained, was a serious person. Alex suggested Leo needed to cultivate an air of maturity and responsibility. He offered him a small project at the company, a chance to prove himself. The image of himself in a sharp suit, competently navigating a boardroom while a surprised and impressed Julian looked on, was enough to convince him. The work was harder than he'd imagined. The tailored suits felt stiff, and the clients were demanding. A colleague, Gary, was assigned to help him, and his patient guidance was a godsend. Leo's text conversations with Julian grew even more sparse. "How are you?" would be met with "good." "Busy." "What did you have for dinner?" was answered with a simple "working." The project culminated in a dinner meeting with a key client, a Mr. Wallace, a man whose smile didn't reach his eyes. Throughout the meal, Wallace deflected every business-related question, his attention seeming to drift. At one point, Leo saw the man's hand slide toward Gary's waist under the table. A protective instinct flared in Leo. He stood, placing himself between them, and challenged Wallace to a drinking contest. If Leo won, the deal was theirs. Wallace, underestimating the playboy reputation he'd heard about, agreed. Hours later, a woozy but triumphant Leo watched as a thoroughly intoxicated Wallace was helped out of the restaurant, the signed contract secure in his briefcase. The world was spinning slightly, but he felt a surge of pride. He was becoming the man he needed to be. As he stumbled out into the cool night air, he saw a familiar figure getting out of a taxi. It was Julian, back from his trip. He looked tired but as immaculate as ever. Leo's alcohol-addled brain registered it as a dream. He surged forward and wrapped his arms around Julian, burying his face in the crook of his neck. He mumbled about how much he'd missed him, his words slurring. He felt tears welling up, a wave of drunken emotion overwhelming him. He confessed everything, how much he liked him, how he was afraid Julian would just reply that he was busy again. Julian's arms came up, not to push him away, but to steady him. He asked, his voice quiet, if Leo had been serious this whole time. Leo, confused, mumbled that of course he was. He said his mother always told him that dating without the intention of marriage was just playing games. Then he quickly added that he wasn't a mama's boy, and that Julian didn't believe in marriage anyway, so maybe they could just be together forever. Julian's lips quirked into a small, almost invisible smile. He said he would need to think about it. It was the most encouragement Leo had received yet. Then the world went black. He woke with a throbbing headache to the unfamiliar sight of a white ceiling. He turned his head and saw Julian, already dressed in a crisp shirt, sitting on the edge of the bed and typing on his laptop. It wasn't a dream. Julian turned to him, his expression serious. "We need to talk about last night," he said. Leo, his mind still fuzzy, instinctively leaned in and brushed his lips against Julian's. It was soft, hesitant. Julian pulled back, a finger pressed to Leo's lips, stopping any further advances. He informed Leo that he was officially on a probationary period. He questioned Leo about the rumors of his promiscuous past. Leo vehemently denied them, explaining that a bitter ex from his high school days had started the rumors and they had stuck. Julian's gaze was intense, searching. Then, his hand moved, slipping under Leo's shirt, his cool fingers tracing the muscles of his abdomen. He remarked that his physique was acceptable and that his future performance would be monitored. The touch sent a jolt through Leo. Just as he was leaning into it, Julian pulled away and turned back to his work. A few days later, a cryptic text from Alex arrived. "Tell Julian to be careful." Leo was puzzling over it when he saw a man lurking near the entrance of the office building. The man was gaunt and shabby, his eyes holding a desperate, greedy light, but there was an undeniable resemblance to Julian. The man approached him, asking if he knew Julian, claiming to be his father. His story was one of woe, but his demeanor was predatory. He asked for money. When Leo feigned ignorance and poverty, the man's facade dropped. He launched into a vile, profanity-laced tirade against Julian, revealing he had once sold his own son to crores to settle a debt. The revelation made Leo's blood run cold. He pulled out his checkbook. The man demanded an exorbitant sum, and Leo wrote it out without hesitation, on the condition that he delete the compromising photos he had on his phone and never appear again. As the man scurried away, Leo made a call to a friend. That money would be coming back. When Julian found out, his reaction was not one of relief or gratitude. It was a cold, quiet fury. He pushed Leo against a wall, his grip surprisingly strong, and demanded to know how much money he had given away. The warmth and vulnerability from the other morning were gone, replaced by a defensive, wounded pride. Leo's attempt to save him had been perceived as an act of pity, a reminder of a past he fought so desperately to escape. Julian told him it was over. From now on, Leo was no longer a potential partner, but simply a crore. He deleted and blocked his number. Leo was shattered. He spent 3 days camped out on the sofa in Alex's office, a ghost of his former self. Alex, finally taking pity on him, explained Julian's fierce independence. Leo's grand gesture, intended as an act of love, had been an insult to the one thing Julian valued most: his self-reliance. Acting on a friend's advice, Leo decided on one last, desperate plan. A storm broke over the city, drenching it in a torrential downpour. Leo stood outside Julian's apartment building, without an umbrella, letting the rain soak him to the bone. He clutched a small, insulated bag to his chest, protecting its contents. When Julian finally opened the door, he stared, stunned, at the sight of the dripping, miserable figure on his doorstep. Leo offered a weak, foolish grin and held out the bag. He told him he had brought his favorite food. The carefully rehearsed speeches he had prepared vanished from his mind. He simply said he was sorry, and that the money he had spent was already recovered, so the debt was gone. He just wanted another chance, any chance, even just as a friend. A long silence hung between them. Then Julian spoke, his voice low. "If we're just friends, that's all we'll ever be." He tossed a dry towel over Leo's head. As Leo processed the words, a slow, brilliant realization dawned. Julian's hands were on him, pulling him inside, away from the rain. He finally understood. Without thinking, Leo wrapped his arms around Julian, pulling him close. "So you're saying yes?" he whispered, a hopeful tremor in his voice. Julian didn't answer with words. Instead, he told Leo about his past, the whole ugly story, giving him one last chance to walk away. Leo just held him tighter, kissing him with a certainty that erased all the doubt and pain between them. He murmured against his lips that from now on, Julian would never be alone. He would stick to him like glue. Julian's eyes, for the first time, looked truly unguarded, a shimmer of moisture gathering in their corners. He said nothing, but this time he kissed him back.